Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here this morning for the finale, episode 12 of Zombieland Saga. Last time on Zombieland, Sakura lost her memories. All of her memories of being a zombie, and she regained all of her memories of being herself. We found out just who Sakura was before she became a zombie. Before her death, she had given up. She was depressed. But she had decided to make one more try to become an idol, and all of that was inspired by Ai. And on her way out the door, the world said no and hit her with a truck. This time on Zombieland. Friend Shushu is performing their big onstage debut thing. And Sakura is refusing to join in. So, what am I expecting? I'm expecting we build up to Sakura joining in, and then we have a triumphant idol performance, and we wrap everything up with a nice little bow. Things that I would love, but I don't necessarily expect. Answers on who Kotaro is. And who he was talking to in that bar. Potentially how he relates to Sakura, and why he would revive her despite her lack of legendariness. Because he wants her to reach her goal, clearly. But I don't necessarily expect to get answers on this topic, because he works as a character without those answers, and so it might be better to keep us in the dark and leave him mysterious. But I kind of hope that we get some answers. It might be one of those things where the answer is less interesting than the mystery. But we'll find out. In any case, let me pull this up. What's our title? Good Morning Again Saga. Okay. Whoa, nobody's commented? That's kind of cool. I'm gonna be the first one on Crunchyroll to comment. An error occurred while processing your request. Okay, maybe that's why nobody's commented. The comments are broken. Oh, it processed. Okay, cool. Weird. Anyway, let me refresh and reload and make sure that we're good to go. You know? You know? It's darker in here. Before we get into this, chill stuff really quick. If you like this, like this. If you're not subbed and you want more, you can do that. If you are subbed and YouTube isn't doing its job, the bell can maybe help with that. And if you really like this, or you want to help me eat, or you want to get a head start on the next poll, which will be happening, I'll make an announcement video for the next poll today. And that poll will be for the actual theme of the Thursday slot, because we've got an opening there and here, and I can't speak. Yeah, so it'll be a Thriller Thursday poll, and I will be looking for a psychological mystery thriller type show, which is kind of tough to do. Also horror would be fine, which is kind of tough to do because I've seen a lot of the good like psychological mystery thriller horror type shows. If you've got a recommendation for that, I will listen to them, but I'll make a poll announcement today. And the way that polls work is the first stage of the poll is open to all viewers on YouTube, and it's via a site called Polly, POLL.ly, and it lets you submit new things. But check my anime list, it's linked in the describble-de-doo. Make sure that the thing you're thinking of is not something that I've already seen, because if it's a mystery thriller psychological show, I've probably seen it, or at least tried it, or something. But check that and make sure, because otherwise I'll end up deleting it from the poll list because I've seen it. And if you are going to submit things to the poll, just submit things that fit the category. Otherwise, I'll end up deleting it. So just don't want to waste your time, you know? All right. Let me pull this back, put these on. Let's get into Zombirando Saga. The finale, episode 12. Bom 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 bom. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a beep beep timer. It goes boop 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 beep, and on the beep and the green light, that is the same frame that Crunchyroll starts playing on my screen. I realized something interesting about Crunchyroll. When it's at 0 and you press play, it holds a freeze frame for like half a second and then it starts playing. So I'm lining my timers up with when Crunchyroll switches from 0 to 1 now. This won't affect your experience with the timer, except that the timer will be more accurate to when it's actually playing, but less accurate to when Crunchyroll starts, like, switches from not playing to playing. Does that make sense? Like, the frame that it goes from pause to play is not the actual frame that the video starts on Crunchyroll. It's like it's a few frames after that it actually starts playing the video. So I'm lining it up with the transition between 0 and 1, which is more accurate. Let me know if that ends up screwing up your timer and if the old version was more useful. I don't know. I'm just doing that because then my timestamp lines up with the Crunchyroll timestamp. Is that better? Is that worse? Let me know. I have no idea. Let's get into the episode. Beep beep timer goes here. Nope. Also, this is tea. It's always tea. Mm-hmm. Shut up. Wait, she's not doing the voiceover. You know? Normally there's this, like, speedy comedic voiceover. Four days. Please more. Coming from you. Ooh, these are interesting shots. They're simple, just layers, but they're good. They've animated the dance. Please. Yeah, bring your memories back. Come on, girl. You can do it. I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself. Believe in the Tatsumi Kotaro who believes in you. She's trying to get through to you. Oh, the legendary. Oh, Romero. Got her bed sitting far away from the others. Why does her jacket say ZLS on it? Like Zombie Land Saga. Hmm. You're making an impact. People love you. Oh. People like you as an idol. Oh, Saiki. All you gotta do is try. Right. Yeah, it always goes poorly. But only because you think so. You're your own worst enemy here, Sakura. 2 days. Oh, the glitches are getting more and more serious. We are so in her head this whole time. Don't be mean to the legendary Tai Yamada. Psh, psh, psh. Too far putting her bed in the middle? Holy crap. What if Tai, like, breaks through and speaks? That would be bonkers. She might. The legendary Tai Yamada. Oh. Oh. Holy shit. When did I get invested? I have no idea. Mm-hmm. Yes. Good. Perfect. You're number one. She was struck by lightning. You know? On stage during her first performance. Like, yeah. That's the same sentiment. Fuck yeah. Yeah, but it won't. How's she doing? What? Shut up. Yeah. 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 Power of friendship. We got a swelling theme. Love it. Aww. That could screw up the show. Oh! 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 What? He knew Sakura from school. And I can't tell if he made that mixtape or if that was a CD from an idol group or something like that. Either way, implication that he had a crush on Sakura. And has put on this whole Chunibyo personality. Whoa! Oh, it's these guys. New logos. Yep. Hey, the people still came. Congrats from Driving Tori. Hey. Half the episode is left. Almost. Not quite. Also, there was no OP. Cold feet again. Just rock the house, yo. Damn it. Oh, it looks much better. The frame rate's much higher. Ah! Let it go. Oh, we got snow falling in. All of the girls are dead. Again. Damn it, I knew it. That's gonna be her mindset, right? Yep. Do it a cappella. Is this your part? And the clap continues. This is a good use of dynamic camera. Oh. Oh, that's what those flashes were. Those were remembering her memories. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Yeah, get up there for an encore. Let's go. Go, 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 go. Those are the Iron Frills girls. Ah, who are you? Damn it, we don't get to find out. Obituary? So he figured it out. And that's the end. Rip Zombieland Saga. It's over. That's the end. Okay, let's talk about this episode. So I'm not going to dwell on the CG. It was there. I'll mention a couple things about it. Some parts of it looked a lot better. Some parts of it looked just as bad. Regardless, I'm invested enough in the characters and the way the performance was written and scripted that I just hand wave it and I'm like, all right, whatever. It's fine. I've gotten used to it at this point. That said, everybody who said that the CG was being used to show how they are newbie idols and it will get better. No, it's budget, and because it's easier to rig up a bunch of models and then have them perform a bunch of synchronized dance moves than it is to traditionally animate the whole thing. That said, I think that the final performance was very cleverly written, scripted, and paced to have maximum emotional impact. You probably can't tell, but I felt chills when they stood up and started singing again, and I was actually beginning to tear up at that point. Just because that kind of emotional impact was well done. It's paced really well. That the whole stage collapsing and then rising from the darkness and starting to sing again was just paced really well. The sort of silent section with just the claps over it, leading into everybody sort of freezing and waiting for Sakura to stand up, that was on point. That was good. The tiny flash of Tatsumi in the past that we got was really interesting and sort of a great middle ground between revealing a bit about him and leaving him mysterious. We don't find out really like who he's been since then, how he's doing this with all the zombies, how he knows about zombies, what's going on. We don't find out any of that stuff. That stuff all gets left in mystery. We just find out that he had a connection to Sakura before she died. And that's all we needed to know. And I really like that as a piece of writing. The rest of the episode was straightforward power of friendship message. And that brings me to sort of the way that I would conclude about this series, or my conclusions about this series. This series is, in my opinion, not a comedy. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't have comedy elements, but that is not its primary purpose. The first 2 episodes are almost a mislead because they are hard into the gag comedy, and that's what originally hooked me, and so they did a good job of that. It was a good hook. But the rest of the show since then has had a much lighter touch with the comedy elements and has been much more focused on more by the book, team building, power of friendship, character drama, and character interactions, and building up this team of idols. It's been much more of a classic idol show, or any sort of team building. You find the same elements in like sports group shows and stuff like that. In my mind, this show has a strong comedic first 2 episodes, and the Hot Springs of Horror episode was also hard into the comedy. The rest of the episodes, in my mind, are much more focused on straightforward, non-humorous interactions between these characters. And that's neither a bad or a good thing, that's just what it is. And it managed to do a pretty close to seamless transition between pure gag comedy and character investment, which I think is something that's laudable. I think that's worth praising. So I'm praising it, if you couldn't tell. I think that's a good thing. And it really shows in the transition into episodes 8 onward, where we get the sort of deep backstory into Lily and Saki and some of the other characters, and really build up the teamwork elements of the show, which then become very effective when Sakura loses her memory. It makes sense, and it's right in universe for all of them to have this bond to the Sakura that they knew, because she was the first one there to back everybody up when they were having problems. So that's right on. I thought that was really good. And making that the character arc of the whole show and of the team, if you will, I think is really strong. It's strong. So this show had a strong premise, an extraordinary first just opening episode, and I would say opening pair of episodes, because you can do a first episode, but if you can follow through with the second episode as well, then you've hooked me, and that's what this show did. And then it bamboozled me and tricked me into becoming invested in these characters and their rise to idolhood. And it did it effectively, so that's praiseworthy as well. I would say the only thing that detracts from this show, in my mind, is the CG. And it's not even that bad, but it is a little bit unfortunate. And I think that the big triumphant idol scenes would have more punch if they were traditionally animated, or at least had a higher frame rate. The locked low frame rate on the CG is just awkward. It's just a little bit awkward, and I think that if it had been a little bit higher frame rate and I'd been a little bit more able to ignore it, that the brimming with tears would have turned into actual tears, because the only thing that stopped me from genuinely getting more emotional about the triumphant scene in this episode was being taken out of it by the CG. So if I had to give this show a rating, I think I would give it a strong 7 to a light 8. I don't think it's certainly not a 10, and I don't think that I would place it alongside any of the shows that I've rated as 9s. So I'm gonna have to decide between a strong 7 to a light 8 on this show. I'm leaning toward the 7 because it didn't really do anything new. It was just good at doing things that I've seen before. But anyway, that's what I think of it. That's an overwhelmingly positive score. And I really enjoyed this show during its run. Yeah. Good show. I would recommend it to other people if they were looking for a short, lighthearted character story, or team building and character story with some strong comedy elements. Because when they do the comedy is good. It's just that it gets lighter and lighter as the show goes on. It becomes less of the focus, and more of the focus is on these constructed characters. And that's, in terms of storytelling, that's actually really brilliant, because gag comedy is something that you can do with no character building. Like, you don't have to understand Sakura at all to find it hilarious when she gets hit by a truck. You don't have to understand any of the zombies to find it hilarious when Kotaro or understand Kotaro to find it hilarious when he's yelling at them and saying all these goofy lines. They're just hilarious in and of themselves, and they don't need character buildup. To think of it from that perspective, that's really brilliant. So then as we transition into spending more time with these characters and getting to know them more, we can phase out the comedy because it's no longer necessary as we get invested in their actual journey. But the comedy serves as a perfect hook, and I would say I wish more shows did this kind of thing, where despite it being it from a different perspective, it could feel like a bait and switch. Like, oh, you baited me with comedy, and now you've gotten me invested in these characters. What the fuck? But I think it's kind of brilliant from a storytelling perspective, because you're hooked on the show as a comedy, and then you get hooked on the characters as characters. You know what I mean? So I think putting it that way, I might bump it to a light 8 instead of a 7, just because that's really clever. Yeah, this might be an 8. In any case, we're going to need to find a replacement for Zombieland Saga on Thursdays, and it's going to be a thriller. So if you want that, keep an eye out. I'll make a video announcing the poll sometime today after I've done this and Karakuri. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. In any case, I've been Teeaboo. This has been the finale of Zombieland Saga. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have, and I hope to catch you in the next show. Peace.